Divine Collective. So you got a group of people that decided that they wanted to throw you into the lion's den. The story about Daniel in the lion's den is a beautiful, figurative story about a man who has a great relationship with his creator. He prays 3 times a day. He has the gift of prophecy. He has the gift to translate and or interpret dreams. He is a messenger, an oracle, if you will. Now, because of this gift, he had a group of people, his peers in a workspace that wanted his spot. They wanted his promotion, but they could not do what it is that he does. So they decided, well, if we all get together and we change the law and we say that nobody can pray 3 times a day, we'll get him tossed into the lion's den. Well, I think they expected for Daniel to be intimidated by the change of the law. But when Daniel did not get intimidated and said, okay, nothing's about to stop me from praying to my God and talking to my God, because I know what my God can do. My God will deliver me with a mighty right hand, and into the lion's den I will go. If this be my fate, so shall it be. So into the lion's den Daniel went. Now, the king who had changed the law based on popular demand and people insisting that Daniel be put into the lion's den felt very, very guilty because he could feel in his spirit. God started working on his soul and said, you know, that's an innocent person that you threw into that lion's den, right? So in the meantime, all the people who accused Daniel, they were really busy digging up dirt, trying to see if they could find something wrong on Daniel. Not only did they become frustrated, but they became infuriated because they found Daniel to be clean. They found Daniel to be who it is that he says that he is. So the time came the next day, and the stone was rolled away, and Daniel responded, the God that I serve sent angels to shut the lion's mouth. Now it's these accusers' turn to go into the lion's den. I don't know how they're going to do, but we know how the story goes as it was told. In ancient times, the first card at the bottom of the deck is opposition. So it appears as though some type of baneful magic has backfired, and it's complete and total devouring of the lion with the destruction. Okay. Yeah. How many times did they think they were going to be able to come up against our reputations and try to find us dirty? That's what I just heard. Tried to find us dirty, and we came up blameless. We didn't have anything going on like what they said we had going on. So they decided to create some type of dirt, defamation of character, right? These people do this in silence. They do it in private. They do it insinuating. They project, they imagine these vain imaginations, and they hope that you get devoured by the devil. Instead, they added a little bit of razzle dazzle because they wanted to assure that you got devoured. And so they did some type of spoken word, baneful magic, and or ritual to get you devoured. Welcome to Spiritual Core TV. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning back, welcome back, Divine Collective. Come on in. Remember to take what resonates and leave what does not. You could be seeing 444. Some type of ritual was done. Some type of ritual was done to make you look like you were guilty, like you did not have the gift that you have. But really, these people are jealous of our gifts. They really want these gifts. If they had these gifts, oh, they do some very dark things with these gifts. This is how they feel. You have a victory over the lion. There's your Leo energy, which represents the lion, okay? And your heart. And the Two of Swords, your heart was weighed and you were found innocent in the middle of people who swore that you would be devoured by their ritual, by their magic, by their spoken words. It has all been rejected. Even right now, they're sitting in an energy of animosity and frustration, trying to send you evil eye, but the God that we serve has made them go blind. That's what I just heard all the time, every time. The evil is falling down. It has nowhere to go. Now it's their turn to go into the lion's den. Now it's their turn to go into the lion's den. 4 of Cups. Notice the 4. Notice the 4, the 4, the 4. Okay. 444. Changes are here. Something about numerology, something about the coding, something about the alignment of the chosen ones. You try to basically devour a chosen one, a leader, a teacher, a healer, a prophet, an apostle, because you really want this person's gifts. And the fact that the God that you serve, or whatever that is that you're serving in that ritual, will not devour this person, now puts you in a predicament where you have to bow down in the presence of the God that we serve, which is a holy God, a very fair God. But sometimes enough is enough. Now it's their time to go into the lion's den. Yeah, look, I can make this up. You're coming out as the magistrate, the magi, the hierophant, the alchemist, the scientist, the biologist. You come from a long line of shamans. You know how to work with the elements. You're very elemental. You got a lot of people still speaking up on your name. Clarify. I just heard the evil eye went blind, and they're being forced. You know why they're giving the evil eye? Because they know that the truth is here. Notice the crown of glory. Notice the ace of swords. These people know that if you are not devoured by what it is that they've done, Four of Cups, they missed an opportunity to make you look guilty, and now it's their turn to go into the lion's den. Isn't that only fair, though? Since they tried to throw us, well, they did throw us in the lion's den, but the Most High God sent angels to shut the lion's mouth. We could not be devoured because we were found blameless. We're just here to do our job. We're just here to guide people back to source. When we get premonitions, prophetic words, we give that, we walk away, and we let the Most High God do the rest. We're not saviors, we're just messengers. It's up to people to decide whether or not they want to be saved by the truth. Because once you've been exposed to the truth, you can't necessarily go back to sleep. You can, but what you see in the dream state is only going to be a reflection of you denouncing the truth. The truth really doesn't need any explanation. It can't be denounced once it's been pronounced in the middle of what was supposed to be chaotic. They threw us into the lion's den, and the Most High God sent angels and the angels shut the doggone lion's mouth. That's a fact. That's the truth. 733 on the timer. Okay. We speak the truth. We see the truth. We know the truth. And the evil eye has to go blind, because how you evil eye in the truth? Now, when the truth was to be revealed about us, they were all in. They wanted to know, I know this person got something. I know we're going to dig up and find. We're going to pull everything about it and we're going to find it. We're going to know. We're going to see. We're going to find something. We have to have a reason because we desperately need this person devoured. The sooner these people get devoured, the sooner the chosen ones get devoured, we can then walk in, scoop up their gifts, and then we don't have to worry about them. But that narrative never played out. It never existed. It was merely spoken into the atmosphere and it fell down immediately. And the evil that they spoke, the evil eye that they spoke, absolutely holds no weight. So now, isn't it only fair that these people have to go into the lion's den? Clarify, y'all ready to go into the lion's den? Oh, they're not ready to go into the lion's den because the Nine of Wands is in the reverse. You know what that means, right? These people have no spiritual war weapons. They have no spiritual protection. The Nine of Wands in the reverse is being wounded with no recovery. Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. These are people that bear false witness against us. Clarify. Time for them to go into the lion's den. What God will they call on? What happened? These people are being forced to go within. They're being forced to seek pure love. The hermit energy, the lovers, they're being forced to go within. This really is their lesson. This really is the message. If they survive being in the lion's den, they now have to give reverence to the creator that we serve. Every single knee is bowing down and it will confess that the Christ consciousness and the spirit of Daniel and Elijah and Jeremiah is here. And Nehemiah, that the spirit of Paul is testifying to the greatness and the goodness of the divine and the creator that we serve. They can't take it no other way. There's nothing else that they can do to flip it, spin it, whatever. Even with the little evil eye can't do nothing. Six of Pentacles in the reverse. All the money that was spent, all the spell work that was done, all the offerings that were done, all the trickery, all the trying to use certain things, trying to use our voice, use our essence, use our image, that has failed. Everybody is in the law of relativity and authenticity. I am showing up as I am. There is nobody else like me. When the Most High God made me right here, the Most High God didn't make nobody else. So therefore, that eliminates the destiny swapping. That eliminates the copycats. 1044 on the timer, the 144,000. So now that everybody's showing up in their authentic selves, as we should always seek to do so, why wouldn't we want to be authentically who we are? The gift in this accusation was that the truth got exposed. The fact that they threw us in the lion's den and we went into the lion's den and the Most High God sent angels to shut the lion's mouth, we kicking it with the angels. We kicking it with the lion. The lion is now our ally, but the lion will devour what the lion needs to devour. Love and hermit. These people are being called, clarified. Now it's their time to go into the lion's den. I'm telling you, they wanted this spiritual gift. They wanted this spiritual gift. They wanted the premonitions that we have. They wanted the foresight that we have. We're not fortune tellers. We simply speak what is going on right now, and the future is right here. There's nothing else. That's it. 1144 on the timer, 7 of Swords. Well, if you watch enough of these readings, you know that the 7 of Swords represents sneaky and deceptive behavior. You know that the Swords represents air. It was that which was spoken. Everybody was talking, yapping at the mouth. Oh, I heard, and she said, and they said, okay, well, we need to make sure we devour this person. So they all collaborated. Why? Because they all have a familiar spirit. So there was nobody to talk anybody out of throwing innocent people into the lion's den. Again, this reminds me of the previous reading. Too many irons in the fire. Everybody had their practitioner. Everybody had a sword. Everybody had a sword by way of the 10 of Swords. If we all come up against this person, there's no way that this person is going to survive. 1233, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the timer. Spiritual jail. 8 of Swords, get a gander. 8 of Swords. Notice the star in the middle. They tried to put a star in jail and take your gifts. 8 of Swords. Now it's their time to go into the lion's den. Now it's their time. So let's see. The God that they serve told them to throw us in the lion's den. Let's see. Well, yeah, they gotta pay for that. Seems like their Akashic records are now under judgment. So now they're being pulled out of their bodies, and everything they've ever done is being pulled out, and it's under judgment by the gods that we serve. And when I mean the gods that we serve, I mean plural. We don't worship a whole bunch of gods, but we are the gods in the earth. The gods who are here to serve, rather. Thank you, Spirit. I accept divine correction. 6 of Cups in the reverse. What happened in the past? Scorpionic energy. Justice is here. Something's real significant about Halloween last year. It spent the block a lot sooner than what they thought. 6 of Cups in the reverse. Justice in the upright. 8 of Swords. It's their time to go into the lion's den. Now they're being pulled up out their bodies. Now their Akashic records are out here for everybody to see. Now we're going to see everything that they've done because now it's their turn. We've already gone through this. 411 on the timer. The information has to come out. I can't make it up. 10 of Swords. Under divine judgment. Where's the God that they serve that told them to throw us into the lion's den, to devour us? Now they sitting up in the 5 of Cups. I'm telling you about the vision that I saw. Notice the tears. The 5 of Cups is grieving, loss. Notice the tears. Listen, I'm trying to tell you what I saw in my vision was people being devoured. 1444 on the timer. Notice the 444, the 4 of Pentacles, the 4 of Cups. 444 by way of the ritual. Something was overdue. They even tried to delay people seeing you as the truth. Once you went into the lion's den and did not get devoured, they then tried to delay the truth. Six of Pentacles in the reverse. They then went and did more spell work because this has got to work. The accusations have to stick, but it was never real. It was never true. It was people that were jealous of us. They wanted our gifts. Ace of Pentacles. But it don't work like that. You can't take our gifts. Ace of Swords, we speak the truth. Out of the heart, the man speak it. So they tried to bridle our tongue to make us out to be liars. The Most High God delivered us from that. The magician is here. Alchemy. They said you were doing magic over them because you were taking all of what they were sending and you were alchemizing it and you were turning it into something good to be used. You still show up as the Hierophant, the Emperor, as a leader. You could be a feminine in that energy and a masculine in that energy. There is no gender prejudice when it comes to spiritual ranking. And only the divine God, the creator that I serve, that I'm here to witness for, that I'm here to speak for, can do that. Ace of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles, they thought we were done. They were celebrating way too soon. Okay? You got the Four of Pentacles. These are people that were hoping to break down your spirit so much so that you would be devoured, that they could harvest off of your soul. It was very imaginative. It was very over the top. It was very much not something that could have ever been reality. So now they get to go into the lion's den. Ten of Swords, judgment. There's no way around it. You know how the story turns out. I'm telling you what I saw in my vision. I'm telling you what I saw, the Two of Wands and the Seven of Wands. Two divinely protected. These people tried to surround you. They wanted to surround you so much so that you wouldn't know where to go, that you would abandon the God that you serve. We will never abandon the God that we serve. We will never, ever, ever. I just heard Neru and Nether. Stop playing with the original etymology by way of divine language and linguistics. We speak in angelic tongues, things that they can't even translate. So when they're listening, they're confused because they tried to figure out how we were praying in the lion's den to determine how to go and do their spell work and their rituals. Satan is the author of the air, so Satan lended an ear clairaudiently. How do they pray? We need to know how they pray. What are they praying? What are they saying? Because they should have been devoured by the lion. Why is this person still alive? This is how they talking amongst their group. Six of Pentacles in the reverse. They got blood on that money. It's in the reverse. It's a bad investment. Okay. Nine of Wands in the reverse. No spiritual protection. No practitioners want to touch them. No practitioners want to help them. No practitioners, because as soon as they come in, our reputation precedes them. As soon as they go in and say, well, yeah, I need help with this person, they lied, and their lies have been devoured. They can't even lie properly. Now they got to have a bridled mouth and a locked up jaw. And what comes up out of their heart is going to be the truth. They have to speak the truth. The Two of Wands, I can't make it up. Time to go into to the lion's den. Time to go into the lion's den. The Six of Pentacles in the reverse. These people are saying this person should have since been devoured. Why is it that they still alive? What is going on? Why? So they did it again. They rallied up more people. They cornered us. They surrounded us. They rallied against us. They wanted to devour us, and they waited. They danced. They sang. They were happy because they were imagining what it would feel like to prove that you were this person that needed to be destroyed. But now they got to bow down in the presence of your creator. They got to bow down in the presence of my creator. They have now become official footstools. This is what it is. This is law. This is what they wanted. They wanted to stop us from praying. That's why they wanted to bridle our tongue. But our hearts were always with the divine. So even the silent prayers, even the prayers you didn't speak out of your mouth, they couldn't devour it. They wanted to know how you prayed. So then when you started to speak in an angelic tongue, they didn't know how to deal with that. In fact, your angelic tongue started to devour them. It made their eyes burn. It made their ears burn. It made their feet burn. It made their backs. They didn't know they were already 1 foot in hell, burning in hell. They didn't know what to do with that energy. So they went and did more spell work Now it's their time to go into the frying pan. I can make this up. Look at the lion. You see the lion. You see Daniel and the lion. This is us. This is what it is. The Most High God sent angels to shut the lion's mouth. It's quiet in the spirit realm because your heart was innocent and it still is. Somebody comment down below, my heart is innocent. It still is. Not that we ever had anything to prove to these people, because the proof is in the pudding. It is clear. It's obvious. Coming up out of the lion's den as the Hierophant, Ace of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, and the Magician, you're somebody that alchemized the negativity around you, transmuted it, and turned it into the Ace of Pentacles, because the God that we serve don't play about us. Justice is here. Most High God sent justice angels. Why is my innocent child thrown into this lion's den? Why is this person set up to be devoured? Okay, bet. The Most High God said, this just gives me time, a chance, and an opportunity to show that I will deliver my chosen one with a mighty right hand. You trying to come up against somebody that prays 3 times a day. You trying to come up against somebody that prays all day long. You trying to come up against somebody that even when they're not speaking, they're praying. You're trying to come up against somebody whose heart is innocent. You're trying to come up against somebody that's praying on the freeway, praying at the store, praying at the market, praying at the gas station, praying at the Walmart. You're trying to come up against this type of person that's constantly in conversation with the God that they serve. You want to come up against us and we constantly talking to the divine about everything. It's a constant conversation. Some of these people talk to God when it's convenient. This is a permanent relationship. It's all the time, every day, every time. So God is constantly keeping us up on what is going on. Somebody wanted your power. They needed you to be devoured, though. Even when they thought they had your power, they're realizing that they're coming up empty-handed. The 6 of Cups is in the reverse. Something about what they did. Their past is here right now. This was their future that they couldn't see. The 8 of Swords, is time for them to go into the lion's den. And the God that they serve is not that faithful. The God that they serve couldn't even see that we had come in divine timing. The God that they serve wouldn't even allow them to see that we were coming as divine oracles to warn them with the truth. Instead, they became jealous. They got to go into the lion's den now. I can make it up. 9 of Pentacles, you did it by yourself. And the God that you serve. The sun's energy, the Lion of Judah. The 9 of Pentacles, single-handedly. All them people came up against you. And you stood your ground with the Ace of Swords in your hand because you knew that was all that you needed. You didn't need nothing else. You didn't need to rally up no troops. You didn't need to go pay no practitioners. You didn't need to do no sigils. You didn't need to do none of that. None of it. All you had to do was go within, tap in, as you had always done. Nothing different to see here. Nothing new here to see, right? It's the same prayers. It's the good prayers. It's you talking to the creator that created you, talking to the good Lord. And somebody wanted to eliminate that. I did see a lot of church folk who passed judgment. Now, one thing about the church folk, I grew up in the church. They know that word, okay? They know the law and they know how it works. So they spoke words of judgment, okay? But some of them were angry because the Most High God is allowing you to be the oracle. They don't like the fact that you flip the cards. They give the devil too much glory. It's just cards. But when the cards start telling the truth, when the cards start to prophesy, you know that you're in the presence of a prophet, a prophetess, an apostle. This is what Spirit is saying. Now it's their time to go into the lion's den. Let's see what's going on. Hold on, y'all. Let me take a little sip of my beverage. Let's see what's going on. We're going to use these cards. These people are under judgment, severe judgment, and they don't have us to help them. Okay. These are people that planned your funeral. They absolutely did have a mock funeral. A lot of church people too that are being called out because they are devout Christians, but Christ is not in them. They're very judgmental. Okay. It's one thing to ask for divine intervention and for God to reveal something to you. But it's another thing to bear false witness against somebody who's innocent because you don't like the way they use their gift and you don't like the fact that their gift is right. So a lot of Christians were passing judgment over people who are ordained to be oracles and use the cards. They didn't like the fact that there were tarot readers who were actual prophets who are using these things as spiritual tools. So the church people are under severe judgment, big time, because the church was never in them. They were also doing magic behind the scenes as well, death spells, speaking death, praying certain prayers out of the book of Psalms. None of those words can hurt us because we're too in alignment with divine assignment. They don't know why. You got death over a leader. They wanted the leader to be devoured. Remember that in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, excuse me, based on the parable, based on the Bible, okay, basic instructions before leaving earth, Christ was under judgment by his own peers. The Hierophants, the high priestess, were the one that called judgment on him. So these are people in the workplace. These are people like, for instance, I'm online and I'm doing my job. These are people in the spiritual community that call judgment down on us, okay? So now they got to go into the lion's den. A lot of these people were family members, neighbors, don't matter. They all going into the lion's den. That familiar spirit finds other familiar spirits. I just heard spiritual CCTV. Yeah, you need to have a seat. You need to stop playing around with what's going on. That's what I just heard. Something about short circuit, under judgment. Okay, let's see, Holy Spirit. These people now got to go into the lion's den. Now they got to go into the lion's den. Look at the way they're running. Look at their faces. Because what they've done is now being seen for all to see. Look at their faces. Remember, they called you evil. They said you were talking to the devil. They said you were a false soothsayer. You are an oracle and a messenger of God. The way you show up, what you're able to do is because it's ordained by the creator that created you. Now, what created them is now going to abandon them, has since abandoned them. What created them didn't even allow them to see that the oracles were in their midst. Okay? Clarify these church people. Now you got to go into the lion's den because you're a liar, conveniently using the scriptures to devour innocent people. Especially when I see prophetic people get irritated by readings, but they watch readings. They go to each and every platform. Jesus is Lord. Put the cards down. That's evil. You're talking to demons. You're this. You're talking to spirits. You're this. And they don't like the fact that we have the gift of mediumship. That's a gift. They've already made us feel ashamed about what we're able to do. We've been there, done that. Right? It's like telling us to denounce the gifts that God has given us in order to help people when we walk this earth. But doesn't it say in Ephesians that some of you have the gift of dream and sight and prophecy and to see spirits? But then they want to call you crazy. They can't conveniently take that Bible and dissect it when it's convenient for them. And if they're only reading from the 66 books of the Bible, I encourage them to find the additional books. There's over 100 books. That book has been altered to fit certain narratives in order to further an agenda to stop the oracles from being heard. We're not new here. We've been here. Our resurrection and reincarnation has everything to do with us coming back with the hopes that no soul is left behind. But when we're told to kick our feet and our peace shall return unto us, we got to kick rocks and turn our backs on people who are hard-headed, stiff-necked, don't want to let go of them altars, still stabbing dolls, but going to church on Sunday, trying to prophesy over your life, trying to say that you evil. The biggest thing that anybody can do is stay in their lane. Why am I bringing this up in spiritual court at this platform? Because a lot of them did try to throw me in the lion's den. And they know that word. But I saw what they did too. I saw the death spells that they did. I saw the scripture that they spoke about bridling the tongue to speak the truth out of your heart. That's an old voodoo practice to get you to speak your truth. So when they came to bridle our tongue and we still spoke the truth, that means that the divine was in our heart. For the sacred words and ancient knowledge I have hid in my heart. Because if my heart is in alignment by way of my posture, that means that my consciousness is going to be in alignment. That means that my crown, by way of Christ consciousness, by way of the crown of glory, is what it is that I'm going to speak from. The lion's mouth has been shut. This is why the lion is flipping around, being possessed by things and allowing it to speak through them, things that they can't even speak about. A lot of church members were really pissed off about how we do our thing here, or just in general in the spiritual community. A lot of you came up out of the church. I don't have an issue with the church. I think the church is amazing. The church taught me so much. My favorite thing was the shut-ins. See, back in those days, we had prayer warriors, mothers on the front line. They would pray from 7 at night to 7 in the morning, and we would shut the church down and break the devil's back with prayer and spoken word. These are the things I saw as a young oracle. I was prophesying to the pastor's wife. I saw when they were going to pass away. I knew, I was prepared. And then I learned that I needed to keep quiet about my gift because I drew a lot of jealous people at a really young age. I'm like, man, I'm 6 years old. I saw witches doing witchcraft in my family. All of a sudden they said, yeah, your auntie such and such, she passed away. God had already showed me. I was 6 years old. I had to keep quiet about my gift. Then I started to hate my gift. Then I didn't use my gift, but God was always with me because I was like, yo, if these are the people that I love and I'm trying to show them what's going to happen, but then they're saying that something about me is evil, I got to get away from this. And so I did. Mind you, I'm in the middle of New Orleans, big witchcraft town. A lot of people go to church by day, voodoo by night. That's fine. I seen it all. And then the witches started to come to my grandmother's house, bringing me gifts. Oh, that's a pretty little girl. I made this dress for her. I got these socks and this because they didn't want to be under judgment. They didn't know what it was. They didn't know what it was that I had, how I was showing up. All I knew is if I was feeling this, there were other people on the planet at the time that I was 6 years old that was also my soul tribe. And here we are. You have very similar stories. I come from a long line of pastors. Some of them good, some of them bad. Now, my mother's side of the story, my mother's side of the street, that's a whole nother ball of wax. We'll get into that on a whole nother day. Just know that when I come to do my job, you got to go through my God, and my God don't play about me. So the bridling of my tongue to see me speak my truth can merely just put you in a position where now you got to reveal your truth. And so far, the Ace of Swords is coming up in the reverse. Somebody lied. Something about ascendance. These people are jealous. It's all about ranking for them. They do their work. They read the Bible because they want a higher rank. They want to prove themselves to be, they want to study to prove themselves approved by the divine, but they have these ulterior motives in between time. You got to read between the lines. Now it's their turn to go into the lion's den. The star, they really mad about that. They're really mad that we show up in the public eye like this. They're really mad that we don't hide away. See, back in the day, you had to hide your spiritual gifts. They made us feel evil. I've been called a witch because I know the outcome of something. I've been called evil, but you sought me out for help. But when I tell you what's going to happen, you go and you sell me out for 7 pieces of silver. Judas has since been dead. The spirit of Judas is suicidal because the spirit of Judas knows that we're innocent people. I've had people come to me. I remember in my 20s, I had a young lady come to me. She was like, it's kind of like a friend of the family, okay? God family situation. And I told her, I said, hey, listen, I woke up, I had this premonition. It wasn't a dream, it was a premonition. My gift works real interesting. You know, sometimes I'm dreaming with my eyes wide open, but I can see. So then they tried to take my sight. They wanted my eyes. Oh, your eyes are so pretty. They tried to take my eyes. So Most High God showed them that my power didn't lie in my eyes. It didn't lie in my physical vessel, that my gift was in the hands of the Creator. And if you want my gifts, you got to go through the God that I serve. You got to go in the presence of the God that I serve. And you cannot go using my voice, using my energetic signature, none of that. Wearing my clothes, wearing my shoes, you can't do that. They already tried to do everything to my physical vessel that they possibly could. But needless to say, she came to me and I told her, I said, listen, your child's father really needs to like choose what he's going to do in life. I said, because he doesn't have any more chances. She overtalked me. I let her talk because I felt like she needed to get it off her chest. And I kept telling her, listen, I don't mean to cut you off, but you need to pray for him. You really need to pray for him. And I even began to cry because God had already showed me the outcome of this man's life. Well, sure enough, a year later, this man ended up being found in a crack house and somebody beat him to death over a piece of crack or meth or something like that. And this was her child's father. And within that year, she went amongst friends of ours and told them I was evil. I was doing witchcraft. She had seen my altar, my white candles, people that I was praying for. I had people that needed kidney transplants, heart transplants. I was praying for them. She went and she took everything that I said to her and demonized it. And so all the people believed her. So I left all of them behind. These are like people I grew up with, people that I knew. So then the word spread, and then they even went and gossiped to my mother and, oh, she's evil, she's this, and da da da. So they all joined in, and it was so weird. So I walked away. I just turned my back and said, okay, God, I know what I did was the right thing. A year later, he ends up dead. She seeks me out on Facebook and she types this long message and she's atoning with me. And then she finds me and she comes to my house. I don't know how she found out where I live, but she's on her knees at my door. True story, crying, begging for my forgiveness. She said, everything you said was true. She was like, you really are an earth angel. And I never tell these stories, y'all, because it can bring a lot of envy. And I don't need people to envy that gift. Because for a long time, it felt like a curse to be able to see what was going to happen. This is not fortune telling, it's seeing fate. Like once something's been decided. But when you go to people and you warn them, hey, you really need to like change this. Like everything you do here does matter. There is a God that all of what you do, it matters. It's going to add up at some point. It's going to decide where your soul goes. Right? So when he passed away, all I could do was pray that God would forgive his soul, because in that last moment, him fighting over crack or meth or whatever, what they were fighting over, they found him somebody beat him to death, basically. Now, when I seen it in the spirit, I saw a demon that basically had possessed a man who was fighting him over like $5 worth of crack. It was a senseless murder. And she cried out to me, but I knew that I couldn't allow her to cross my threshold. So Spirit told me to leave her there. I told her, I said, listen, I forgave you the moment that you didn't see what it was that I was trying to tell you that God sent me to see, but that's okay. But I got to go away from you. I cannot connect with you. She literally tried to destroy my reputation. To this day, she tries to talk to me. I have nothing to say to her. I have no anger in my heart towards her, but that's just a story to let you know a little bit about my story and what I've seen all my life. So when I get the prophetic words, the Bible thumpers, yes, they have the gift of sight. Yes, they have the gift to see. Some of them sit up confused because they don't know why God keeps preserving us. They ask God, why is she still amongst the living? Why is the collective still living? Why are they able to flip the cards? Why are they able to see this? Why do they know what we did? Why? They're breaking the law. They're evil. They're evil. You said, do not seek out soothsayers. No, you're not supposed to seek out soothsayers. You're not even supposed to seek out oracles. Let's talk about the law. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. Why? Because the rivers and the lakes are going with the current. They're going in a certain direction. And if the Most High God wants to send you a messenger, the Most High God will send you a messenger in the midst of your troubles. Just like he did Daniel in the lion's den. Daniel called out, hey, Most High God. Daniel didn't call out to a soothsayer, didn't look for another oracle, didn't look for anybody to vouch for him, didn't call out to the king. He called out to the God that he served. And that's what we did. And God sent angels to shut the lion's mouth. So when you're in alignment, God will send you the right people at the right time to prophesy over your life. And you'll know that God sent them. So many times I've been in the store and God just sent angels right in front of me. They be like, God is not going to leave you, right? Like literally, just imagine somebody stopping you in the middle of the store saying, God said He's going to provide for you, right? And I'm like, I needed that. I needed that reminder. Listen, don't seek out no soothsayers. Don't seek out no oracles. Don't seek out no readers. Unless you're being called to. If God wants to get a message to you, it'll come out in the reading. So many people went chasing spirits, inquisitive, went chasing Ephi. Oh, I want to know what's going on in Ephi. So they started researching, they're chasing spirits. Don't chase no spirits. If them spirits want to protect you, if them angels want to protect you, you'll know. All you got to do is walk. Now they in the lion's den and the 10 of wands. What's going on? The God that they served said that we were guilty, that we would be dead. They even pronounced us dead in the ethers. They even had a whole funeral, y'all. They even read Bible scriptures. They were hoping that the holy word would grant them some type of permission to call judgment down over the oracles, the innocent ones. When they found out that we were innocent, you would have thought that that would have told them to change their ways. But no, instead they went even harder. The 10 of wands is a lot of weight because the truth is here. They want you to be a liar so bad. They're trying to redirect people from the truth, the world in the reverse. This is online, y'all. The underworld. They went to the underworld. They buried us in the underworld. Okay. Now they want to apologize, but they're still coming up as a page. These are premature, immature, senseless apologies that don't hold no weight because the 10 of swords has already been launched. You already pronounced us dead. Remember, you already had somebody officiate over our funeral. Ain't that right? Only for us to come out as the star and the phoenix that has risen from the ashes. So you know that the divine is walking with us with ascendants and the ace of pentacles. Most High God was like, watch this. I'm about to show you something. Put your faith in me. So I did. Surrender your whole soul to me. So I did. And the divine delivered me out of the mighty lion's den. Now it's their time to go into the lion's den. And when I say me, I mean my chosen ones. Now it's their turn to go into the lion's den. Look at the way they tried to leave us in the lion's den. This is what they wanted to see. When the stone was rolled away, they wanted to see that the lion had devoured us. This is them in the lion's den. 10 of swords, 10 of wands, 10, 10. Something has to be balanced out because a lot of these people are in the church, but the church is not in them. These are church witches. They do the same thing that we do, except they don't flip the cards, but they prophesy over your life. God told me to tell you this. And a lot of them do have very special gifts. But the moment they tried to come up against a group of chosen ones because they didn't like the way that we did what it was that we did, they give the devil too much glory when it comes to these cards. This is their delusions. Oh, you flipping the cards. Well, the cards are telling the truth, though. Is it not? The 9 of swords. Is it not true that y'all are in the 9 of swords in the lion's den? But it's the same lion that you wanted to devour us. What happened? There's your lion. What happened? Look at the way the lion just devouring that ass. Strength. These people have been devoured by the lion. It's their fate. It was always supposed to be that way. It's the same cast of characters from the Old Testament. It's the same cast of characters from the New Testament. That's the Old Testament now. Some of these people are reading from ancient stories that are outdated, but they're not living the stories right now. There's new basic instructions before leaving Earth. This is what we came back to remind them of. So their New Testament is old. The New Testament is the new testimony. This is a testimony that I'm giving. And that's just what it is. 411 on the timer. The lovers, we came back with love. We gave you love, you gave us hate. We showed you love, you gave us hate. We told you the truth, you said we lied. You went back and even pronounced us and said that we died. Now you got to go into the lion's den. Now you got to go through what we went through. You wanted to give. So now you got to go through everything that we went through. But the exception to this story is it doesn't turn out well. They've already been devoured by the lion because that was fate. They're the same people from Daniel in the lion's den that got thrown in. 4444 on the timer. Changes are here. Clarify, they got to go into the lion's den. Who's going to come up against that ace of wands? That's the divine. You don't like my chosen one. Tell God about it. If somebody doesn't like me, my platform, my kindred soul tribe, and there's only a few of you, there's only a rare like 1%. And that's all we need in this earth to change the world. We don't need much because the God that we serve created everything in creation. That's a fact. They don't like that. Some people have religious PTSD, so they don't like to refer to the Bible. That's fine. But your gift is what it is. Some of us were shoved, they shoved religion down our throats. You was at Bible study Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, because these elders were fighting their demons. That's why they stayed in church so much. Okay. Falling all out, foaming at the mouth, watching people get delivered, watching demons fly up out of people. There were more demons in the church when I was a little girl. I would see the demons just flying up out of people. I would see the demons jump into people. And I was just a little girl sitting in the front row watching my granddad preach in the middle of New Orleans, waiting on my chili cheese dog after church and my soda pop. That's all I really cared about because I could already see what was going to happen. I would have dreams. But then I learned to stop telling my dreams to the people that were adults because then they tried to work me. And one day, when I was 9 years old, I was sitting in the car and I went blind. True story. Everything went black. I wasn't afraid. I knew the divine was there with me. Divine had already told me that I would be okay. I just counted to 5 and then my sight was restored. It seemed to have happened over the course of what appeared to be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, maybe 5 years. I would be sitting down and all of a sudden everything would go black. Went to the doctor, they found nothing. That's when I realized that there were witches in the family, in the church that were doing spell work. They want that little girl's gifts. This little girl right here. I could bind myself into her. I could be beautiful. I could be this. Now remember, these are people that know that word, but it's incomplete. They refuse to read from the books that are missing. We represent the book of Enoch. They were still reading Deuteronomy and Numbers, but the book of Enoch sums it all up on a mathematical level. Some of them read the book of Enoch and they can't understand it. You got to have the Holy Spirit, because there were times when I read the book of Enoch and Spirit was telling me, you jumping ahead, calm down. It's not even meant for you to know this right now and to understand it or be reminded of what it means. But when it was time for me to know, I knew. True story. And God kept restoring my sight. The sun. God kept restoring my sight. The King of Pentacles. Spirit says, let it be clear. These people had a choice, the 7 of Cups. They chose the cup with the snake. One of these cups has gold in it. One of these cups has consciousness. They chose the cup with the snake. That's how they exercise their free will. Some of them chose the war weapon. Notice the gun up there. They chose to shoot you down. Now they're in the 9 of Swords. No rest for the wicked. Exiled, left for dead. In the barren mountains. 10 of Swords. Now it's their turn to feel what it is that they sent out. So what conversation will they have with the lion in the lion's den? What conversation? Why they got the hand up to the lion? It's time for them to be devoured by the demons that they consulted with. Because the demons that they consulted with were very honest with them and told them like, yeah, we can't touch this person. Remember, they went and did spell work too, because they needed their gossip, their lies, their slander to become true. Yeah. It's a Leviathan spirit. They said that we were prideful. They said that we were arrogant because of our gifts. Oh, you know the truth? Okay, we'll handle this. Okay, well, that's fine. Judgment is here. We'll just leave it to the divine because we got somewhere to go. We got things to do. We can't sit here and talk to y'all and talk y'all through the lion's den. That ain't got nothing to do with us no more. When we came with love, you showed us hate. When we came with the truth and we said, hey, God sent us, you called us a witch. You said we were evil. You said we had voodoo dolls. You lied on us. You told everybody, the whole community of people. There's nothing new there to see. So when I made it to this platform and I had somebody like call my reputation out, this person had been spying on me for 1 year, okay? Watching me, even knows where I live, which was really, really scary. Somebody that you don't know online watching you. Very scary, very insidious energy, right? And so a lot of people follow behind this person as this person tried to devour my reputation. And then there was a feminine, there was another woman, there was about 5 people that tried to defame my character online as part of some type of like humiliation ritual, right? What they could not see is that I had been walking this path all my life. I was thrown in the lion's den when they took my sight at 9 years old. And I saw the way to God that I serve with a mighty right hand delivered my sight because they were jealous of my eyes. I have Egyptian eyes, naturally. I look like a cat. They don't like that. They were jealous of my eyes. Everywhere I went, ooh, that baby's eyes. Ooh, her eyes are so pretty. Some of them would be coveting my eyes out of jealousy. God would show me that. God then put a veil over my eyes to protect me so that I didn't have to see all the evil, because at some point it just became overwhelming. So then when all was said and done, it was like, okay, that's fine. When all was said and done, God showed me the power of the divine. It was a very personal relationship. So when I got to the platform and I had people accusing me and saying this and throwing magic and all of this and going to practitioners and God is showing me in the dream state, I'm like, what the hell? I don't even know this person. Who is that? It's a couple of Caucasian people, a couple of Caucasian witches, a couple of black witches, a couple of church witches, a couple of this, a couple of warlocks. All they was all trying to marry me in the spirit and exes and all that. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. God showed me a vision when I was 6 years old, what was going to happen in this moment. I already knew this was coming. I had been prepared for it all my life and I already knew how it was going to play out. I saw these people when I was 6 years old, all of them, all of them, all of them. So when I saw them in the physical as an adult, I'm like, oh, I saw you when I was 6. You've been traveling through lifetimes. They were like, I'm like, oh, this is the part in the story where I have to stand 10 toes down on what it is that I believe in and what it is that I know. But I already know how the story goes. I'm telling you, look, I saw them when I was 6 years old, all of them. The guy that tagged me or that was talking about me, child, I've been whooping his ass for lifetimes. All of them. The devil in the 4 cups. The devil will always miss when it comes to us. Always, no matter what they do. They believe too much in their practitioners. They believe too much in their evil. I got a practitioner. I got a root worker that's going to show you. Okay, that's fine. You put your faith in that root worker and watch the devil get devoured. Now you in the lion's den. You the root worker, your friends and all the people you rallied up. Crawl yourself up out of there. Now you want to know how we praying? What praise, what prayers and praise do we give to our God in order to get up out the lion's den? Now you want to be friends? No, when we came with the Ace of Swords, you said we was lying. Every single person that has attacked me or tried to, thank you, Spirit, that attempted to attack my character at this platform, I had a vision of you when I was 6 years old. Just a heads up. I already know how your fate is going to go. I could tell you, but that ain't my business. My goal is to be the Empress. My goal is to go amongst people that are like me now, that share very similar gifts, that want to help this world. Because whatever these people got going on, it's nothing. Spiritual community, your ass is so under judgment. It ain't even funny. Church members, all you fake ass church members, Bible thumpers, you read from the Bible, but you got graveyard dirt under your pillow. Child, you going exactly where you wanted us to go. How about that? Okay. The workplace situation. Look at the workplace. Now, this is very similar to Daniel in the lion's den. Remember, the people that tried to devour Daniel and put him in the lion's den were co-workers. Remember, they were co-workers. Daniel was working effectively, efficiently, minding his business, something like how I do here. I'm really proud of my work. I feel like the divine is well with my performance. And that's really what gives me peace, especially when I read the messages of people being delivered from certain things or gaining clarity. Like I have just this overwhelming, y'all, it makes me want to cry. I have this overwhelming joy when people get it, because I've seen so many people that God has sent me towards and they did not get it. They did not see. And I had to walk away and watch them get devoured by things that they didn't even want to pay attention to. But God sent me in. All those people that I gave the truth to, they all tried to unalive me. Every single last one of them. Family members too. Okay. That's just the way it goes. But the Most High God says, I see fit for you to be here again. I see fit for you to see the sun come up. And that is all I need to know. The God that I serve is a very powerful, mighty God. And there are other people just like me walking this earth. So the people in the workplace, all you root workers, tarot card readers, seemingly oracles, all you fake ass prophetess or whatever you got going on, the Page of Swords, you talk about us, you watch us work, you're mad because of the work that we do. You really want to call judgment down on it. So you did. You threw us in the lion's den. You waited for the lion to devour us. We came out as a star, the Ace of Pentacles, because the divine said so. We don't need any accolades in that. This is not a boastful energy, but you said we were boastful. You said we were prideful. You called on the spirit of pride to test our souls. You called on the spirit of the Leviathan spirit to see if it could attach to us. You tried to bridle our tongues to see if we were going to speak the truth out of our mouths. And that too was a beautiful testimony, because the truth never could go anywhere. The truth still came out no matter how much you tried to shut our mouth. You tried to say that we were the lion that came to devour the people, but instead you were the lion. Now you can't wear your mask, and the law of authenticity, no matter what you believe, be that Catholicism, Christianity, if you're a Baptist, if you're Muslim, the law of authenticity will stand. Because there's a Muslim warlock that prays 3 times a day that calls on death angels. You're under judgment. That's fine if you call on the death angels. Just know that they're going to be riding with you everywhere you go. They can't come towards us. Just know that. This is a workplace situation. You got the dark practitioners, dark witches, initiates, whatever they got going on, that were called to come up out of confusion. And they didn't want to put down their things. They felt like, who the hell are you? Who do you think that you are? It's not that who they say that I am. It's who they say that Christ is within me. Hierophant in the reverse. The real Hierophants are here. Most of these people that came up against us, they played the parts of the same characters as Daniel in the Bible in the lion's den. Leaders. Some of them don't like how we just came out the gate. Let me tell you something. It's some powerful oracles, prophetic ones. There is a woman that reads the Bible on her platform. She is a powerful prophetess. She is a powerful oracle. She's amazing. If you're not 50 plus, I don't want your prayers. If you haven't been here half of 100, I don't want you praying for me. And if you've been here half of 100 and you're bitter, I don't want you praying for me. Don't send me your prayers. If you 42, you still got a long way to go. If you 47, baby, you ain't touched nothing. If you 44, hang in there. That 40, that 4444, that 40, that decade from 40 to 50, baby, you're just scratching the surface. If you ain't 50 plus, you can't come up in here and tell me nothing about what it is we got going on. You will get out of the way. Do your 50 and then we will listen to you. But by the time you get 50, if you're not better and you're still bitter, then your 50 has been in vain. You're just like a 5-year-old child who's immature, who can't see a thing. The Hierophant, I can't make it up. Hierophant energy, okay? Hold on, y'all. Let me get my music back going here. Where's my music? So most of these people were in the workplace. Most of these people were in the workplace. And that's a solid law as it relates to me, this platform, and how I feel. Because I caught all that side talk. A couple of young bucks, 40-year-olds. Tried to come up. That's what's up, though. I'm very grateful for that. As much as I'm joking about it, I'm very grateful for that. Because anytime that the divine can bring in righteous judgment, I will sign up for that. Even if it's at the expense of what appears to be a reputation, something that people thought was important to me, something that people thought was a people pleasing thing, like I really gave a damn, I'm always open to the opportunity to see the divine deliver a chosen one out of the lion's den. I was not exempt. I was thrown into the lion's den too. I'm very grateful that the Most High God sent angels to shut the lion's mouth. Now the lion ain't got nothing to say. However, the remnants, the backfires, the debris, the aftermath, the aftershock with the devil in the 4 of cups, 7 of cups, judgment, 10 of swords, and exiled, and the 9 of swords. Oh my goodness. The children are calling down judgment over these people. You got 6-year-olds that are more powerful than me. I'm really glad about that. I want the babies with the innocent hearts praying for me. And if you're not 50 plus, you can't pray for me. If you're not 50 plus and you ain't walked and learned some lessons for real, you can't pray for me. If you're bitter and you're 50, you can't pray for me. If you're 40 and you're better, you can pray for me. That means that 40 to 50, you're going to be better than you was. Might as well get it ready now. Might as well get better now. That's what I just heard. Okay. You got the Queen of Pentacles energy and you got the 2 of Pentacles. Somebody's heavily sitting up thinking about how to change their life. Yeah. Come up out of that grave. Come up out of that lion's den. Clarify. It's their time to go into the lion's den. The 5 of Wands in the reverse. Jealousy, anger, evil eye, hatred. They really wanted our spots. They really wanted our gifts. So they did everything that they knew how to do. They pulled out all the tricks. They pulled out all the stops. About 30 of them got dolls on you. They always working the dolls. How many dolls does it take to get to this person's gift? So they poking the pins. They doing this. They doing that. They doing everything that they can imagine to do. And that still is not working. They called on their jinns. They sent evil spirits. They sent insidious spirits. The spirits kept going back. Spirits are like, nah, there's too much light here. We can't go over there because we don't even know what that is. The Most High God says, how is it that you don't recognize me in the chosen one that I sent? That means you don't have the eyes to see me. That means that you've fallen from grace. That means that you turned your back on the divine. If you don't see that this person is chosen and you see them as a prideful person, that means that the pride is in you. So you're deflecting, you're projecting your mental illness, 9 of swords, because you feel left out in the cold. 10 of swords, because you're mad, because you don't know how to get back to the divine. 10 of wands, weighed down. Ace of swords in the reverse. The only way to get towards the divine is to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about what it is that you did. And you need to come on your knees in that lion's den. Some of them are too proud. That's why they're being devoured. They'll never, ever, ever say that what they did was wrong. This is why they're being devoured. 2 of cups. We don't want to be friends. We're friends with the people that are kindred souls like us. Okay? They wanted us to compromise our position with the God that we serve. They were waiting for me to do witchcraft. They were waiting for me to go to a root worker. They were waiting for me to go and do something because they wanted to provoke us out of that innocence. They wanted us to see, like, see the God you serve ain't coming. Okay, well, we'll just see about that. We'll just wait for that. Okay. The 4 of swords, meditation, the 2 of swords. These people got a choice to make. You either gonna stay in the devil's den, get devoured by the devil. Some of them have already been devoured by the lion. I saw a lot of people just dropping. They're not telling you that their root workers passed away. People in their family passing away. These are the same people that they set up and talked to you about. They did spell work, spell casting by way of the spirit of gossip. They even used the Bible. They used the Bible because they wanted to add protection. They wanted to be nice, mean people. Like they're coming in a very kind spirit, but their hearts are what was tested. It was the evil that they hid in their hearts. It's not the nice words, the sweet words that came out of their mouth. Because people will come in very sweetly and try to make something really bad sound like music to your ears. It's an illusion. This is why you should always pray for discernment and always pray for your intuition to be connected to your discernment. Okay. 3 of wands. Okay. This is forward movement. 2 of swords. This is at a crossroads. 3 of wands. 4 of swords. People have been laid out, laid down. 7 of cups, 5 of wands in the reverse. That's a lot of spiritual warfare that's backfiring. That's a lot of shots that were fired that are backfiring. The devil in the 4 of cups with the 4 of swords and the 2 of swords. What a beautiful, beautiful simulation. What a beautiful example. What a beautiful opportunity for the God that we serve to deliver us right in front of everybody. Not that we ever needed the attention. This ain't about attention. It's not about any of that. Really, it really isn't. It's so much deeper than that. But what a beautiful opportunity to give reference to the creator that came through with the righteous judgment. Like, thank God. Sheesh. Because had we left it up to these people, they would have devoured us. A lot of them had funerals and pronounced us dead, and they spoke scripture, child, and they said that the dog was you and all of that. And then you show up the next day looking beautiful and looking amazing because the divine said that you deserve to be amongst the living. This is nothing that could have ever been decided by your peers, because these are not our peers. They don't resonate with our soul. These are co-workers. These are people. I saw all these people, all of them, when I was 6 years old. I already know how their fate turns out. But if I tell them what's going to happen, they're going to say that I'm casting a spell. So Most High God was like, well, don't tell them. Just be quiet. Stay focused on me. If you tell them what's going to happen and you prophesy to them about what's going on right now, they're going to say that you are a witch. So don't tell them anything. They can't see you. They don't even have the eyes to see you. So don't tell them anything. Let it all play out. Okay. And you keep it pushing. And here we are. What's next, Creator? Show us what it is that you need us to do today. How many people wakes up and says, Creator, what's that you want me to do? Show me where you want me to go. Who do you want me to talk to? What do you want me to say? Surrender yourself, your whole soul. Go within, Virgo energy. Okay? A lot of you are being told to just sit still. Something is being done and prepared for you because you're following your intuition. You are the high priestess. This does conclude this message. If this resonated, please hype up the video. It helps the algorithm. It helps the reading get out to people that really genuinely need it. Big shout out to all the church people, the Bible thumpers, the really good church people too. You know what it is. Once you pull back all the layers of what it is that we do, you know the truth. I hope you continue to speak the truth and see the truth. Thank you for your beautiful prayers. In the name of the creator of all things, Christ consciousness is the truth and the way and the light. And we are here as Daniel in the lion's den, and the lion cannot devour us. And now that these people have been thrown into the lion's den, we can see their fate, but we are being guided to not give them the prophecy because the prophecy has already been told. And when it was told to them in love, they gave us hate. So this is the message, okay? I love y'all. I do. Give us a thumbs up over here. Don't forget to come back. I'll see you in the next reading. Until then, peace be with you.